Women's Asia Cup 2024 is ongoing, but in between, let's focus back into the men's cricket because we're the same country, to be honest. Sri Lanka is going to host the T20 and the ODI series against the men in blue, Team India, the world champions, we can say, at least in the shortest format of the game. Welcome back, Rohan, once again. The
Yeah.
smile is definitely there on the face whenever we say world champions is taking center stage. Sri Lanka versus India, T20 series firstly coming up. I think it's a very good contest. New coach, new captain as well. A lot of things to discuss about, but starting with under the leadership of Suryakumar Yadav, what's your take on this Indian team?
Good bunch. I feel good selection and a lot of transparency. I thought in the presser with Gambhir and Agarkar. I think finally certain questions were answered. So I think everyone was kept in the loop. So that's good rather than keeping everybody in the dark. So on selections, good choice. I'll say Surya, senior player, pretty much a guaranteed starter in every this thing unless any injuries. Not like Hardik, who can be a bit fragile at times. Unlucky too, but he's been a well proven guy with his leadership in GT. He has won a title and runners the other year as well. But I think they kept a simple concept saying if didn't want to overburden Hardik, so I think they wanted someone like Surya. He also did well in that recent couple of series that he captained against Australia and South Africa. Good results. So I think that kind of went in his favor and pretty much a guaranteed starter in the 11. And being a batter, I think the issue of uh, workload management will not come in. So I think a good choice, Surya. I think let's hope for the best. Long term or not is depending on the results, I feel. But in the short term, at least, a good choice. And knowing Gambhir, he has worked with Surya in the past with KKR. So I think that rapport will surely help. And along with the other coaching staff too, like Abhishek Nair and who else?
Absolutely.
Ryan and Descarte, I think, for Sri Lanka tour. So that's good. In the Monemokal also coming up for the Australian tour, I think the next this thing. So overall, good choice, good bunch selection. I think a lot of youngsters are there. Continuation from the Zimbabwe series also, I feel. So that's good. Let's see how they perform. I mean, irrespective of the results, I feel how the kind of
The
template these
approach.
guys follow and the impact these guys do and the roles that are given to them, how well they can do, because we do know now Rohit and Virat aren't there along with Jaddu. So the replacements, how they perform, I think that will be more keenly watched.
Absolutely. You summed it up pretty well. You're saying about the squad and how they play, how they set up a template. It's going to be very interesting to watch. Let's take a look at the squads for both the teams, starting with Team India. Yeah, it is starting with Team India. If you look into the squad, Rohan, overall, we all know what the squad is. Couple of openers with couple of wicket keepers as well. But when you're talking about the press conference, they were asked about a lot of players, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Abhishek Sharma. The reply was the players missing out from the series were hard done by. So, what's your take on this squad overall? Do you really think that these 15 players deserved it? I shouldn't say not deserved, but massive opportunities for players like Khalil Ahmed, Shivam Dube getting another opportunity, despite Hardik Pandya being in the squad, Rinku Singh, I think a little bit fancied by Gautam Gambhir in the T20 format. So, what's your overall summary when it comes to the squad and also the players who have unfortunately missed out?
I think the point that they made, we can only select 15. I think any selection that happens, we'll always see like why isn't X, Y, Z is there. We don't see whether the other A, B, C are deserving or not, right? So whoever is picked, I think they are also earned their right to be in the 15, and they're all proven performers, not like just IPL. In the domestic circuit also over the years, they have done well. Rituraj Gaikwad or Abhishek, I think that maybe just in 15 to 15, maybe it's just Sri Lanka, right? If something happens, they can just fly out easily. Maybe it was a slightly more far tour. Definitely, we would have seen a slightly bigger squad, and all these guys could have been in the mix. But as you said, someone like Khalil, I'm very interested because Arshdeep has been our go-to left-arm seamer. Someone like Khalil, if he can do well, in case Arshdeep graduates to a red ball squad, or sometimes he deserves a kind of rest because of the workload. Khalil can come in and be a equally potent left-arm seamer, I think. So in that sense, we are trying to build a lot of backups for your main starters. So I think, in a sense, again, some like Dube, we tried in Hardik's absence. If he can again, just like in the World Cup, deliver, I think that will only add depth to your squad and more options to the team and the team management. So I think overall a good selection, keeping in the conditions of Sri Lanka in mind. The spinners Akshar, Bishnoi, Washi, I think all will do a decent job. And of course, Mohammad Siraj loves the Lankan batting lineup. So I think we may see some more of a
Absolutely.
bit of Mia magic.
Absolutely, you summed it up pretty well once again. But if you look into the squad, I wanted to ask you, more or less, the players were part of the T20 World Cup squad,
Yeah.
not in the 11, but they were in flavor of them. The players who weren't, players like Washington Sundar, Khalil Ahmed, you have Rinku Singh, even Yashasvi and Shubman Gill. Do you think Riyan Parag as well? So do you think these players have an opportunity to start? Not taking account the openers, I think they will definitely start. But players like Riyan Parag, Khalil Ahmed, do you think they will start the series or after a couple of games?
No, it's a three-match series. I think everyone will get a go at the opportune time. Need not be your guaranteed starting 11, but I'm sure because it's a three-match series, they'll try and mix and match a bit and give everyone a couple of games there, here and there. So because Arshdeep is also part of your ODI setup, so I think keeping six-game series rather than a T20 and ODI, I think you can bifurcate or just combine it into 6 games. I think each will like to play 2 or 3 games and be in a good frame of mind and in form because. Sri Lankans are a bit susceptible to left arm seamers. I think both whoever plays, or if either both of them play together, also it will be a good enough challenge for them. It's just that how the
Absolutely.
other guys, when your Jussi or all those guys come in, which of these will be leaving out will be the
Correct.
headache for the selectors. But either way, all these
Absolutely.
guys have done well in the recent IPL, especially Khalil. I was very impressed for him at DC with the new ball as well as at the semi new ball. He
Yes.
was able to get that reverse swing and the bounce. So I think look forward to him doing well too.
Absolutely, you summed it up pretty well. Going into the opponents, which is the host Sri Lanka, I think they have picked more or less just like we selected the World Cup basis on the IPL. They have selected the squad basis on the Lanka Premier League. Captain Charita Salanka, who was winner of the Lanka Premier League 2024. I think this squad is pretty young, but still, if you find spots, there is a lot of experience. Dinesh Chandimal is back into the T20 squad. Kushal Pereira, Kushal Mendis, three wicket keepers is there. Then Dasun Shanaka is there. Looking into the bowlers, Thusara, Pathirana, Tikshana, you have Shamira, all have IPL flavor as well. Birura Fernando, I think he has been an exception in the LPL. The left arm pacer who can trouble Indian batters who have been against left armers. We all know that. You have Dunit Vallalagi who created that havoc against India in the Asia Cup. Was Hasaranga as well, but shocking that he's not part of the captaincy roles as well. But if you look into the squad, I think once again, brilliant one.
Very balanced, I feel, and at home they're always formidable team, irrespective of the rankings or the recent performance. As they said, LPL they're just coming off a T20 tournament, so all will be in that continuity frame and as well as in form. That's where these people are selected, and it's a very potent bowling attack. I feel the main factor for them could be the batting. If they can put enough runs on the board, I think that's how they can challenge this Indian team because bowling is pretty potent for the given condition. Someone like a Chamira or a Patirana are proven performers in the IPL as well. And Hasaranga is always a threat in the middle overs with his wicket taking ability. The others may have to bit more step up given the power packed Indian batting lineup. I think those other bowlers can be targeted from the Indian point of view, but their batting, as you said, someone like Avishka Fernando or Charita Salanka are very free stroking players, and even Kushal Mendes. I'll be very happy to see this guy. Kushal Janit Pereira is back too. I think after a long
Absolutely.
time. So exciting bunch of batters can give you more chance. Maybe hit and miss, not be consistent, but very much match winning players on their day. I feel.
Absolutely, you summed it up right, really well. So, such a balanced side. Young players are also there, but still, I would like to say that they have the experience in the back. Charit Asalanka has been the winning captain, so he will have the confidence to lead the side. Avishka Fernando was in brilliant form in the entire LPL, so another player to watch out for. Patum Nisanka, we'll know, Kushal Mendes. So, really, really good talent. It's how they perform at home, where they have played the one leg of the Lanka Premier League as well. So, we will see that. But we are done with a squad to watch out for. Let's take a look at the last 5 matches these two teams played in the T20 format. Talk about the last 5 matches. India, Sri Lanka. India won thrice. Sri Lanka have won twice. So that there is that head-to-head between each other. But if you look into the series, I think with confidence, India come into ahead of Sri Lanka.
A slight edge, definitely, but I think at home, Sri Lanka, they don't be a cakewalk, you can say, for this Indian team. They'll put up a decent fight, and India will have to be at the A game to
Yeah,
win the game. They can't have any slip ups or be not acclimatized to the conditions at times, which can be our Achilles heel at the start of the tour. At times, we do falter, but you can't take anything for granted. I think. As against Zimbabwe, I feel maybe a game of one game here and there lapse can happen, but I think that will
yeah.
not motivate these guys to come back stronger and more better performance the next game, I feel. So overall, I think it'll be balanced series, as you said, 3-2. I think that's how the series will be keep on going neck to neck. It's just that crunch moment, whichever team holds the now, I think they'll go ahead.
Absolutely. Holding your nerve is very important, and you rightly mentioned whichever teams holds the nerve in the series because it's a young side. Both of them have a young side, so we have to see how it pans out. But talking about the young side, led by captains who will lead their country for the first time, let's take a look into the leadership as well as their coaches. I'm sure you have seen this before as well. I'm excited to hear from your end as well. Duo of Suryakumar Yadav and Gautam Gambhir. What's your take on this one, Rohan? First time Gautam Gambhir will be in charge of Team India against Sri Lanka at Palakeli with the new captain of Suryakumar Yadav. Similarly, Chris Silverwood has been part of this side, but he has a new captain to deal with now, Charit Asalanka.
Just to correct here, Preetham, I think Silverwood has resigned. So I think Mr. Sana Jai Surya is the interim coach for them for
Okay.
this series. So I think that will be exciting. He has been a nightmare
Oh,
for
then you have one more. Yeah, Sanajay
then that
Surya.
he
You
has
can
been a
sum it up.
nightmare for the 90s kids, you can say, Jai Surya. I hope their players don't give that same repeat headache for us. But rightly said, Surya and Gambhir, the KKR connection comes through. Hope in the leadership style as well, how much they can give that touch of what do you call calmness that Gambhir brings. He's pretty serious, we see on in the dugouts and all, but I feel in a IPL atmosphere, it's completely different to a national team. So how well he can step up there, because in IPL it's generally seven Indians, maybe a couple of junior guys, and the four
Yeah.
foreigners. Here in the Indian team, all 11 are equally superstars. So how well he can, it's basically a man management skill as a coach in the at this level. So how we can get them to play at their optimum, make them mindset bit more cool, relax, rather than you can't teach a Surya how to play a supla shot or anything like that, right? It's just getting them into the proper frame, good preparations, knowing of the conditions, all those little one percenters that we say. If we can get that into this team, because a lot of youngsters are there, like a Bishnoi and a Washi. If those guys can step up, I think that will be a real goal to achieve than getting a Jaiswal or a Gill to score. I think these fringe players, if they step up, I think that will be a more challenging task in this tour for Gambhir.
Okay, but do you think that they will ask them to play fearless cricket, positive intent, not play for milestones, which he has always been?
Definitely, I think even under the previous regime, I think nobody was looking at their personal things. We saw how Virat or Rohit were going blazing in the power play itself, which was unlike them in the previous years. So, a team always comes first, like Gambhir has reiterated many a times. 1-6 didn't win the World Cup, right? So, it's the team as a whole, each one's individual contributions, albeit a little role here and there. I think each one has to step up their performances to make it happen, right? How you do this series, the coming series, that's what culminates into your 2 year cycle, the next World Cup. So each series and each thing will be important for them, especially the youngsters, because when the squad announcement comes, these little things will be taken care by the management while picking the individual. Because as you said, only 15 can be. So here and there, something somebody does well. I think their chances of getting in that 14th or 15th player can increase.
Absolutely, and that's what we are excited as Indians. But we need to a little bit of inputs from the other Sena countries people as well. I have a very special guest who is just waiting behind the scenes, all the way from England. Let's see what's his take on when it comes to Gautam Gambhir being the new coach of India. Hello, Sandy Paji. Welcome back into the show. Gautam
Thank
Gambhir,
you,
India
Stephen.
coach. What's your take on
Yes,
this one?
I think India's just had the elections, and if Gautam Gambhir's name was in the elections, he would probably win the. So I think the fans are happy. I think firstly, I think murmuring on social media and other media has been the Indian coach should be Indian. So I think that's a big tick in the box. And then Gautam Gambhir is coming from the high of winning the IPL, and now can he transfer that to the international scene? I think yeah, I think he will do well. I think the attitude he has, especially for the younger players, is going to be very very positive. So again, I'm really excited to see what this team India is going to happen, how they're going to transition and manage the T20 stuff now, because that's on the back burner for 26. But 2025, if we're going to play the Champions Trophy, what the team is going to be looking like, how they're going to be managed, and the difference between Gautam Gambhir as a coach and Rahul Dravid as a coach, they're very, very different individuals. And it'll be interesting to see what the new brash arrogance of Gambhir
Absolutely.
will have on this team.
Correct. Absolutely rightly pointed out. Sun Jayasuriya for Sri Lanka. Very, very interesting to see. Thank you so much, both of you. Let's take a look into the fixtures for India and Sri Lanka. Three-match T20 series at the same venue, which is Palakelli, starting with 27 back-to-back games. Rohan, we just played against Zimbabwe with back-to-back games. Then we play 30th at the same venue. So when you talk about same venue, I'm expecting not more than two pitches to be played out here. So spinners will surely come into play as the games progress.
Definitely, especially the first game, I think the pitch will be pretty fresh because not much cricket has happened at that particular venue, you can say. So the pitch will be fresh and there'll be some help for the seamers. It just, as you said, the back-to-back games. The second game may bring the spinners into more effect, I feel, because a little more extra rough and bite, and the traffic and the square areas will be higher. So I think the spinners will play a bigger role in the second game, is what I feel. Especially since both the teams have good leggies in Asaranga or Bishnoi. I think those guys will definitely enjoy, as well as someone like Akshar and Washi. As soon as there is some bit of help in the pitch, they become slightly more potent compared to the Ristis in a regular pitch, I'll say. So equal, I think the bowlings will define this, but Palikele has that little more extra bounce. So I
Yep.
think the batters will also enjoy hitting through the line, unlike maybe a Premadasa, which can be slightly sluggish at times at Premadasa. So I think Palekele will bring out the best among the teams. So conditions may not be such a huge influence on the game, like a dew or anything. Maybe a rain. I'm not sure in Sri Lanka what happens at this time of the year, but definitely, if you play good cricket, you will do well in such kind of venues.
Okay, he asked about rain. He asked about the weather. We have that ready for you as well. Let's take a look into the pitch report and the weather conditions. Here's the weather conditions in the pitch report. All three matches going to play at Palagali Paji as well. But chances of rain is very minimal. But all the three games are in the evening under day-night games. So Rohan said earlier in the day that Siraj just loves bowling against Sri Lanka. So in the evening, you have him having the new ball against Sri Lanka. Do you think he will be a player to watch out for?
You have to. It's like horses for courses, and his course is Sri Lanka. And against that team, against the conditions, he just likes bowling there. And I think when you go into a game mentally happy, knowing that you've got a good track record, one against that team, but particularly against those conditions, it's going to put him in a very, very good state. And this is probably the difference between India and the rest of the teams. This bowling lineup, which they can put together, doesn't have many miles on the clock, and at the moment, especially not during the IPL aside. So I think this is where India probably does have a very, very good advantage over other teams. Other teams are really restricted with the amount of players they want to play to make their team competitive, whereas India can chop and change some of the bowlers. And this is where the fans have to be a lot more patient. These games are, with 2026 in on the horizon. You want to get these players playing in the team. You want them to get them in some rhythm. You want them to be comfortable playing with the jersey and the weight of the
Yeah.
badge and the cap. I think that's more important now to get this there. And then we know as soon as the World Cup happens, the big guns like the Bumrahs will be playing and they'll be
Exactly.
on form. So I think it's very very important one to get to know the conditions, and maybe Sri Lanka might be the co-host for the Champions Trophy. So again, very very beneficial for the players to be out there in Sri Lanka.
Okay, I don't want to go there to be honest. Let's see what happens when it comes to a Champions Trophy and its venue. Everyone has their own opinions. Thank you so much, Paji, for that. We will see that, but this weather looks positive. we are certainly going to get some good amount of cricket in the three-match T20 series. Let's take a look into the predicted playing 11. Team India's predicted playing 11 is here, Rohan. I have my predicted 11. What's your take? And then I'll come to Paji.
Yes, looks good. Maybe just one change I may do. Not sure. Maybe in the course of time, everybody will get a game. As Paji said, this series,
Mhm.
yeah, they would like to give everybody a couple of games to get in the groove of the T20 national team.
Yeah,
Maybe a Washi in place of either Dubey or Rinku, just to split it up so that we'll have that spin option of three spinners. Because in Sri Lanka, you will require more spin. If Hardik is bowling good amount, then he can complement the two normal pacers in Siraj and Darshdeep, or even Khalil if he is a replacement there. Three pacers and three spinners can give you that more options and flexibility for someone like Surya to play around with, because either Akshar or Ravi and Washi can all ball in the power play as well. So that will give him more options and keep few overs of Arshdeep maybe at the back half where it will be required, because we don't have Jassi in this series. So that slog overs, you need someone more equipped and has more experience doing that. So we'll require someone like Arshdeep and Hardik for the back half maybe. So maybe have one more spinner in case. I know that will be hard on someone like Dubey or Rinku, because we all love to see Rinku on field and do well. But sometimes the team combination and giving everybody a chance may sometimes be a
correct.
cause for someone missing out at times.
Absolutely. I was even having a little bit of confusion on this one, but I was also confused on fitting in somebody like a Sanju Samson, Paji, someone you know very well. So, what's your take on this playing 11? Any changes, firstly? And the players like Sanju Samson, Abhishek
Yeah.
Sharma, Ruturaj Gaikwad, who missed out, if you have a little bit of word about them.
Now, to be fair, as I said, like this is probably is the 11 that they'll go by because it just gives them more options. Like if Dubey does bowl 1 over or 2 overs, that's fine. But we know Hardik is fully fit, so Hardik will bowl 4 overs, come what may. And then Arshdeep, roughly, he's a shoe in, and Siraj will be a shoe in. So I think they'll go with the three, and then they've got Akshar Patel, and then they've got Ravi Bishnoi, and they probably potentially might go for an extra bit of spin as Rowan said, if they want to get Washi into the team. But I still think Washi or Shivam Dubey or Washi, that's probably one they could probably tweak and say, okay, let's do. But I think they'll stick with Shivam Dubey. They'll want to give some of the World Cup players, an outing
A little bit
as
of
well.
game time. Okay,
Bit
so
of
fair
game
enough.
time.
You're going with both Hardik and Shivam Dubey, just like I've gone. I think if Hardik has been forced to bowl 4 overs, I think Shivam Dubey will also be informed by
And
Gautam Gambhir to
also,
bowl.
Pritham, just to add on, Shivam Dubey is also part of the ODI squad. So I
Yeah,
think the Hardik isn't. So they may like to give him a bit more space for
correct.
Hardik and rest up Dubey. Maybe a couple of games going in this
I-
T20
Is
leg.
is Washi part of the ODI squad?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes it even more interesting to see what does Gambhir wants. To be honest, we will see that batting depth in this squad playing 11 of mine looks really certain. But Rohan says one change: Washington Sundar in place of Shivam Dubey to add a little bit of more spin at Palegali. Going on to the playing 11 of Sri Lanka here, I think I've gone more or less with the depth they have even in the Lanka Premier League. Kushal Pereira, Pathum Nisanga, my openers, Kushal Mendes at 3, Avishka Fernando, I think he has been phenomenal, so I'll keep him with. Coming to Mendes, someone bowling all rounder, or you can say a batting all rounder who bowls with both hands. So whenever you require, he can come into play. Then you have Charit Asalanka, the captain, and then the following. Paji, firstly, I'll come to you. The squad, this playing 11 looks a little bit balanced for me.
Yes, it is, and they're coming off playing from a recent tournament as well. So, and again, you'd say they probably are going to come with this within form. They know the conditions; they're the home team, and again, they should be able to benefit from that. Whereas India probably coming from a bit cold from the high of winning the World Cup. So, realistically, I think Sri Lanka will be competitive. I think they'll be more competitive in the T20 than they will be in the ODI because then
Okay, correct.
the balance of the batting, which I think that's where the difference between the two teams will be can India's batsmen take, because if India's batsmen take, they've got the bowling in place as well with the options. So I still think Sri Lanka will be pretty strong, especially in this T20 season. That's why the first game is very important. If India win the first game, then you expect them to run with it. If they lose the first game, can they come back stronger in the second and third match? So important start, I think, making the right decisions, using the conditions well, and getting that team on board for Team India is going to be the key.
Okay, so fair enough. So you are sticking with this one. Let's take a look at the final segment, which is my favorite, predictions. Time now. Starting with Rohan first here. Rohan, 3-match T20 series, Sri Lanka versus India. What's your score for the series?
Since I think it's a T20 leg, the balance and even the difference between the two teams will be narrowing down. So I feel it will be a 2-1 slightly to India because of the powered hitting ability and the batting which overpowers them. So I think for that reason, but definitely the scorecard may say it's 2-1, but it will be very equally fought. And as I said, the crunch moment, whichever team will hold its nerve, they'll be the ones who will be going forward with it. But India, I think on paper are strong. It's just that home conditions make Sri Lanka a bit more closer, or else if it was at home, I think India would have just run away with it easily. So I think 2-1 to India.
2-1 to India. Paji, same answer. Are you going with the whitewash?
I would go with 2-1 for India. As I said, the first match will be important. So the team that wins the first match, I think, will be favourites to win the series. And I do think it could be
Okay.
2-1. I do think it could be 2-1. But I think the players of India will have a lot to play for, because obviously it's Gautam Gambhir's first thing here. They want to do that in style. So maybe if India win the first one, they can win it 3-0. But I think 2-1 is probably a better scoreline.
Fair enough. Both of them going with 2-1 is what the score line is. Thank you so much, Paji. Thank you so much, Rohan, for covering this one. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire, every one of you who are watching this one. So thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.